Hey guys, DibtheAwesome here to give you another Monster Legends Guides. Today we're looking at Lau Lau, her moves, her stats, what runes to run on her, what runes not to run on her, and her partners in competitive play from a competitive view. Alright, so this monster, first off, first off, the design on this monster is really cool. It's got a really cool adventure feel to it. Like she's like it's like I think it's kind of also a reference to Felicia from Capcom, or she's a character from Capcom and stuff like that. Kind of reminds me of her, kinda. She's like a Catwoman. Uh, this is actually a really good monster, and you'll know why when I talk about her kit and stuff like that. Uh, she is probably by far easily the best light attacker, and I will explain that in her kit. So first up, she is a light monster, therefore her weakness is metal. Her power is 3,432, a really nice power. Her life is 27,000k plus 445. That is a really decent life, very good sustain. If you pair it up with shields, then that's a really good form of sustain. And honestly, with her power is so high, she doesn't even need kind of a buffer. She can still function on her own pretty well, and she'll still do a lot of damage. Her speed is really fast. It's 3,553. This is a phenomenal speed. It's faster than Voltik. I honestly think she can one-shot Voltik, which is a really important thing to note. So if you have the same level of speed runes, because a Voltik always gonna run 2 stamina. No matter what you go into a fight, a Voltik will always have 2 stamina runes regardless. So they'll always be running 2 stamina and a speed. So if you run 2 strengths and a speed, you're gonna for sure kill Voltik. Hands down, you're gonna kill him. Just straight up the bat. Especially if you have a buffer. He's just dead because she has really high damaging single target moves. So with her ultimate, Cap Brawl deals massive light damage to all enemies, may apply 100% damage reduction to all targets. That's really strong. That's actually, I don't remember the damage on Volgar the Pure's ult. This might actually be higher in terms of damage. So this is a really great ult, especially for an attacker. And it pretty much defends everybody from damage for a whole turn from everybody. That's a really great ult. So totally something to get, totally worth mentioning. Just a phenomenal ult. We're gonna go down to his second group set, or her second group set. Brisk Blemish. This removes all negative effects and applies stamina regeneration. I'm gonna recommend you don't run this move. Simply because again, stamina effects, she has an upgraded version of it, and yeah, it doesn't really do stamina regen, but it deals more damage, and this is kind of her deal. As an attacker, you just focus on doing damage. You don't really have to worry about removing status stuff, because that's really on your other monsters, really, like your supportive or your second guy, your extra guy. Dazzling Wind deals moderate light damage to all enemies, 50% chance of dazing all targets. Requires cooldown. This is her high damage AoE. I'm actually going to recommend you don't run this AoE. Even though she has an AoE that's 5 damage less and does blinding. Or I think it's 10 damage less. I can't remember. Yeah, it's 5 power less. But I don't recommend it because, again, with this, it's 50% chance. Plus, odds are you'll have another monster that does dazing anyway, like AoE dazing. There are a bunch of extra guys do dazing, like Will Razorface or Discopolis. You really don't need to run the 50% dazing. It is okay to have if you don't ever plan on pairing her up with someone that daze. But it's just, again, 50% chances, you know how well that is in terms of actually landing. It's going to be very rare that you get all 3 of them. And that's why I don't think it's worth running for that regard. Even though it is decent damage, it is there for the damage. You can run it, but just solely for the damage. but I think just the utility in the blind, and if you're just running a damage dealer buffer to begin with, you don't really need to worry about that. But this is an option that you can run if you don't plan on, again, running dazing, or you just want to focus purely on damage. Just really high end damage. 45 damage is pretty high. Kenzo Go deals heavy light damage, may make target bleed, applies stamina leak to target, requires cooldown. This is a great move. Run this move. As you know, I'm a fan of bleeding, and this move is very like a bonus of stamina leak, which is really great. So if you have like, okay, imagine this: you're in a fight, so the enemy like, I don't know, it can either like AoE like blind you, or like, stun you. So you're currently you're losing stamina, and you're not really doing anything yet. So as soon as if you stun someone, you use this on them. They go their turn, and then they didn't get to do anything that turn. Then they do their turn. They've lost 30% of their stamina. If you have a monster that does like AoE stamina removal, essentially they'll only ever get the move once, if anything. This is a really good move. I really like this move. Run this move. This is a really good move to run since it's on a low cooldown. Flashing Scrapes deals massive special damage, removes all negative effects from itself, requires cooldown. This is a really awesome move. You need to run this move. 75 damage. That's basically Barbatos's Mastery of Pain, I believe. This is a high damage. I think that it is. I don't know how. I don't think it's like 95. I think it's like 75 damage. We could probably check on that after I talk about all of her sets, or all of her moves. But Flashing Scrapes, totally run this move. It's a bonus that it removes all of its own negative effects, which is really nice. Like, again, it's usually like the supports that usually deal with that. But again, with that 75 damage, look at 75 damage, and it's a special damage move. You can pretty much hurt anything with this move. So totally run this move. Blinding Wind deals moderate light damage to all enemies, may blind all targets, requires cooldown. This is a great move to run. I actually recommend you run this move, very much so, because it's 100% blind, and if you pair it up with things that do AoE dazing, that's also a bonus. It's really great. So honestly, you could use this person as another attacker too. You can pair it up with things like Lord Mammoth, because Lord Mammoth has an AoE daze. Pair it up with that, or just anything else really, and you're really solid. Don't Stop Kenzo deals massive light damage, may make target bleed, requires cooldown. So she has two 75 damage moves on 2 turn cooldowns. Totally run these 2 moves. That's a lot of single target damage. I think she has the best single target damage overall in the entire game. Simply because she has two 75 damage moves on 2 turn cooldowns, which is really great. So honestly, with my suggested move set would be all of Group 3 and Go Kenzo Go. Simply because it's the best single. It's got best single target choices, and it's got that utility in blinding the attacker, so the attacker may not even get to hit you with the crowd control. I mean, if you freeze them for a turn, then you can either do damage boost to your Lau Lau, and then she can burst a single person down just like that. She's really good against Voltik. Just phenomenally well. She's faster than Voltik, and she honestly, if there's a boost before she actually attacks him, it's gonna die. It's down. You don't have to worry about Voltik killing you. That's why she's really great. Simply because she doesn't have to worry about being denied the hit because the enemy has tough or anything like that. That's why she's really good. She can literally take out generals without worrying about the chance of missing her damage and stuff like that. So yeah, she can be very good at soloing out single target people. people will argue that she isn't really the best attacker in the game. Like, the best attacker will always be like Voltik and Barbatos. Uh, okay, for my opinion, okay, this is my opinion. Again, as you guys know, I hate Voltik. Uh, I think Voltik just goes beyond the category of attacker and just like goes into the category of bullshit. That's where his category is total bullshit or just game ruining or game wrecking. There's always that. When I make my video on Voltik, it might just be a rant video. On Voltik, it will still be a guide, but most of me just talking about how unfair Voltik is. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad monster. I just think he is not fair. It's the same, like it's like the same thing in like every like game with like there's always that one character that breaks the boundaries of the game. Like with Street Fighter, I think it was like Akuma. I think that's what his name was. In League of Legends, there's like Blitzcrank, who just destroys positioning. Nautilus that like anything that destroys positioning. In MOBA games, totally like Blitzcrank and Roadhog. That kind of deal. The thing that just ignores everything in the game. Voltik is that monster in this game. Simply with that 4-turn move. Okay, you know it's pretty stupid. As soon as he moves, there's no like losing. The game's done at that point because the damage he does, he doesn't stop moving. He's that strong. But yeah, I'm gonna make a guide on him at some point. Just mostly talking about it and stuff like that. But yeah, again, going back to Lau Lau, Rune said, I actually recommend you run 2 strengths and a speed. I would normally say a life. A tanky Lau Lau would be fucking scary. But I think 2 strength and a speed. With that speed rune, you can outrun. Again, you can possibly keep outrunning Voltik, and that's a really important thing. Just to be able to take out Voltik from the get-go. And if the damage from the negative remove negative effects move doesn't work, you can always do the single target bleed move, and that's really great. What else? So yeah, 2 strength and a speed. The speed rune really just outrun the Voltik. Because she would naturally outrun anything that's not with the speed rune. But yeah. Partners. For partners, I'd have to say, just to keep her alive, or to keep her moving, like Cailleh is, again, Cailleh works well with pretty much anybody in the game, so you can run Cailleh. What else would you can run? You can run Frostbite with the AoE, damage boost, Incognita with that AoE damage boost. Really, like for extra guys, Real Razor Face. Oh, Real Razor Face would work wonders with Lau Lau, simply because his daze is a 2-turn cooldown. So he can always keep like dazing the enemy. The enemy's gonna keep being dazed like for days, and then with Lau Lau, like they're gonna be blind for 3 turns, and they're blind for 2 turns, and that's again like you can like at that point you could AoE. You can just keep doing the same thing. Essentially, and it's a really strong combination. And that's about it about Lau Lau. Would I recommend buying her? Yes, she is worth the buy. I actually got her myself as of recent. She's currently hatching in my hatchery. I was really bummed that I didn't get her in the event. I kind of didn't get her in the event because I didn't have Draz. I could have possibly gotten Arknight up and ready right away. I actually don't even have Arknight yet. I have the things for him. I was gonna make like 130 Arknight, but I was kind of iffy at that at first because of like the dungeons, like how the dungeons monsters would be like 130, and I was like, oh shit, I'm sure their stats are gonna be stupid broken and stuff like that. But then I realized they don't have runes. Like the 130 monsters won't have runes, and at that point it'd just be the same level as your guy, like the monsters with runes. So I was like. So yeah, that plan would still work, and it'd be all right. But yeah, this is worth the buy. I'm sorry I didn't get this video out beforehand. I was also kind of bummed that I didn't get Draz in the event. Like, you could actually get Draz in the event with Lau Lau and the Thunder Ninja Crow. It was funny, I was actually using the opposite crow of what I needed to use. Like, I was using the Mecha or whatever, but I was actually supposed to use the original one. I have the original one sitting in my storage, so I was like, that whole time I was just breeding my Galante, my Violet, whatever the combination was. I think it was Violet and the crow guy, and I was using the opposite thing, and I wasn't using the correct one, so I actually didn't get I didn't even get Draz in the event. I was kind of bummed about that. Draz is a pretty good monster. I'll probably do a guide on him at some point, or soon. I don't know if it's going to be soon, but at some point in the future. So yeah, that is all I have to say about Lau Lau. If you like this video, go ahead and hit like button. If you got a guide suggestion, I would be happy to do it. Again, I am DibtheAwesome. I'll catch you guys later.